back with the first biography of George H.W. Bush, written from inside his administration, just released last month. And it happened to be written by University of Rochester lecturer and former George H.W. Bush speechwriter Curt Smith, joining us right now to talk all about his book.
We're enjoying our conversation, so thank you for staying on for part two, if you will.
My pleasure.
Obviously, this is not the first book about the former president.
Right.
For people who've written or read a lot about his life, what do you think your book includes that maybe others don't?
Well, I think it's far more personal than other books, which have been basically policy tomes or political examinations. Mine has some of that, including the tragic 1992 election, which is really the low point of Bush's life.
And
frankly, one of the longest
should be
one of the longest years of my life.
Yeah.
Of course, people say to this day that if he'd had better writers, he would have won. But, but on the other hand, it opened for me, as I was saying before break, a chapter with him, meeting him and getting to know him as a dear friend. In fact, he got a copy of the book last week. He sent me the nicest note. He has a galaxy of thousands of friends, but the few that have worked with him intimately over the years, really, I think I look at him. He was a war hero. He was an oil cadre in Texas on his own, and then he became ambassador to the United Nations, and then he became our first liaison to China, and then he became director of the CIA, and then he became vice president for 2 terms under Ronald Reagan, really setting a new standard of loyalty and decency and quality. Reagan was able to use him in a multiplicity of ways. And then, of course, president. And when I review his presidency, what is astonishing to me is, number one, how did he lose in 1992? This is a man who had a 91% approval rating in the wake of the Gulf War in March 1991, the highest ever for an American president ever. And also, on a far happier note, how he reshaped the world, whether it be the Berlin Wall coming down, the dissolution of communism, the Soviet Union dissolving, Germany being reunited, Saddam Hussein, that humiliating defeat, an enormous victory for Bush and for freedom around the world. It was a stunning record.
So what happened? Let's talk 1992. 1988, he had a spectacular victory against Michael Dukakis. Everyone thought Dukakis was going to win.
Yeah.
And then 1992, it was almost the opposite. He was up against a newcomer. No one knew Bill Clinton at the time outside of Arkansas. Yeah. Was it really that no new taxes line that brought him down?
You've read the book. In fact, 1988, I say, was the greatest campaign in modern presidential history. You're quite right about Dukakis. Bush had been behind by 17 points in the Gallup poll, and he won by 8 percentage points, a shift of 25 points. That has no parallel in modern American political history. On the same token, 1992, I say, was the worst run campaign in modern American history, large part because Lee Atwater had died, his political aide, and really entree, if you would, to the middle class. And it was amazing. A lot of Democrats, including Mario Cuomo, decided not to run in 1992. They announced in 91 because Bush looked invincible. And I think the problem was a lot of people in our White House thought Bush was invincible.
Very nice. Well, Curt Smith, thank you so much for coming on. This is a really wonderful book by a wonderful local columnist. You're still writing, and I encourage people to get out and read the work of Curt Smith. Your time is valuable, and we appreciate you giving some of it to us.
Your time is valuable, and I thank you. It's been a treat.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thanks, Curt.
We're going to check the forecast once more right after the break.